Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing today? I hope all is well with everybody. Okay, so you're not here to ride the wave, you are here to become the wave. This is what I mean by that. You know, so humanity as a whole has been suffering from spiritual laziness for quite some time now. I don't know why it's taking so long for so many people to start to see the real picture of things here. I understand that a lot of it has to do with stepping out of your comfort zone, thinking or stepping outside the box. I've spoken about that in a specific video on I think it was the cube of Saturn. Yeah, go watch that if you haven't watched it yet. But the fact of the matter is that we're getting to this point, we're reaching this point now where I'm pretty sure that most people can see that the whole picture of all that is happening right now, not only around you but all over the world, it's out there for anyone to see. It's undeniable. I mean, it's been undeniable for quite some time, let's be real here. But I don't know what it is about people that they prefer to keep the blindfold on because they just don't want to look at things as they are or deal with things as they are. So we're always looking for excuses, living in this perpetual state of denial of all kinds of things. It doesn't matter what they are. It doesn't matter if it's a personal life issue or anything else for that matter. You know, and I've spoken about this so many times. And I know it sounds corny, okay? But the truth of the matter here is that change comes from within, my friends. Change comes from within. It does not happen any other way. It never has, it never will. So if you're not happy with whatever is going on, let's say in your life or in the environment around you, the world and all of its problems, have you ever stopped to consider for a minute that, well, maybe if I change myself first, and then as a result of myself changing, maybe I can change those around me or have some sort of beneficial influence that I could provide others around me with. that maybe will allow them to see things differently, and maybe therefore they will do that themselves. And maybe, hypothetically speaking, we could create this chain reaction, domino effect, however you want to picture, whatever you want to call it. But instead of that being the case, for the most part, there is this latency, laziness, refusal to acknowledge that. And that's the thing about this quote. Everybody knows this quote. Everybody heard this quote at some point in their lives, right? And I believe it came from Gandhi originally, but don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but I think it came from him. I think he was the one that said that. Be the change you want to see in the world. Maybe the quote wasn't originally from him and he got it from somebody else or somewhere else. Who knows? That doesn't really matter. What matters is that the quote itself, it speaks for itself. And anyone who heard that quote before knows deep down inside that that is true. And yet, you chose not to live your life that way because we have this mentality of that's not my problem, right? And you just keep going whichever direction you're going. But that's not going to make any change happen anywhere. Do you see the irony of it all? So that's what baffles me so much to this day. It's like, look, I'm speaking from my own experience here, okay? Like I said, this is where I share my journey with whoever is willing to listen. And hopefully whatever I talk about here has helped you in any way, shape, or form. And if it did, then I feel like I'm doing a good thing. And that's all that matters to me personally, okay? I know from my personal experience then that when you change from within, because I've done that to myself, everything else changes around you. It's a 360, 180, whatever you want to call it. But it's true. I don't know what's the deal with this fly here. I've seen this fly here for a little while, and I don't know where this fly came from. I'm not opening my windows right now because, you know, it's hot. I have the AC running. I have the fan running over there, and I have no idea how this freaking fly got in here. It's getting annoying. But anyway, I'm not going to let the fly disrupt my chain of thought here. Why don't you do an experiment? This is my invitation to you from me, okay? Do an experiment with yourself. Try to go a day being different from what you currently are. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say, I don't know, maybe you're having problems in your personal life and you know you're not happy with it, and that is affecting you in such a manner that, you know, people will perceive that because it happens, you know. People will sense it, people will feel it, and depending how negative you're feeling about yourself, it may affect other people around you, and it, you know, that might be bad for you too. You most likely will be. So why don't you try to go a day if that's what you're going through? I don't know. It could be different. It's going to be different for everyone, but you get what I'm saying here. Set, you get up, you know, from your bed in the morning and set yourself this expectation from yourself that, today's going to be the day that I am the best version of myself that I could possibly be. And stand by it. And then try to go on about your day that day. Thinking that way, seeing yourself that way, and see how that goes. And feel and see, but feel. That's the important thing here. You have to feel it. It's not about thinking. It's about you set the intention. But in order for that intention to manifest, you have to feel. That's how it works. Feel yourself as the best possible version of yourself for one day. It's one day out of your life. And that day may change your life for the rest of your life. I think it's worth giving it a shot, wouldn't you? Because if you're tired of all the stuff that you're seeing, feeling, all these things that are happening all over the world, because look, whatever is happening is going to happen as it is right now, okay? You have no control over that. So you shouldn't be worried about global scale things. Worry about yourself first. Because you alone don't have the power to change anything that you see outside of yourself. Globally speaking, for instance, this is just an example here, okay? So if you truly, really would like to see some of these things change for everyone and everything, then you gotta start with yourself. Because if you don't do that, how do you think anything is gonna change? I mean, let's be real here. I talked about, the whole thing with the water and how, we're mostly made out of water. 70+%, whatever the number is. And to have an intention and then to, after that intention, feel is what makes things happen. It's what sets things in motion. It's what changed things. And it's been proven by that Japanese guy who was doing these studies on the water, writing the messages. I talked about this in a video before. I'll talk about it again. Where he would write, negative messages on the water, and then he would put it under a microscope, and so, and he would put things in the water sometimes, vegetables, whatever, fruit. I don't remember all the details. You can look that up on Google. It's all over the place. And then he proved that, if you would write things on the water, the container where the water was, if he was writing "I love you," and positive messages like that, and then things would take way longer to decompose. Because feelings are powerful. They have the power to either, you know, destroy our lives or change our lives. And that is a fact. Love doesn't judge. Real love doesn't judge. It's like the closer you get to real love, the more you get to see, feel, and experience what real love isn't. I'm gonna say that again. Let it sink in. The closer you get to experience real love, the more you get to see the things that are not real love. If that's hard to understand, you should do some introspection and play that over on your head. And I think you're gonna get it. So this is what I wanted to talk about. That's what the problem is with this like spiritual laziness that I was talking about, is that people don't really want to participate in any way, shape, or form to change things. They just want to stay on the sidelines and watch the whole thing. This is why I use the analogy, people want to ride the wave. But that's not what this is about. You should become the wave. You may have to meditate on that one too. Look, there's no other way, okay? You either become the wave or you ride the wave. There's no in between here. So you gotta pick a side. I'll tell you though, becoming the wave is much more interesting and, how do I put it, inspiring and uplifting than just riding the wave. And yeah, this was a philosophical video today. I figured I'd do something a little bit off the pat here. But you get it. I know you do. You're smart. You guys are smart. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. Right? So with that said, like, subscribe, share, comment if that's what you feel like doing it. And I love you all. And I will catch you on the next one. Take care, my friends.